Stockyard, and I am the outreach coordinator for the Design and Construction Division of the Boston Parks and Recreation Department. I wish I could say that I had a whole lot of updates, however, I do not. As you know, we have made several asks for our budget for fiscal year 15, and we are still waiting to hear back as to what has been approved. What I can say is that we are actively, consistently advocating on the behalf of the North End residents and their parks needs. So if you will bear with us, we will have some concrete answers in terms of where our many projects stand, particularly courtesy of Ann, thank you very much, the Cobb's Hill Burying Ground, the Cobb's Hill Terrace, Paul Revere Mall, and scheduling a walkthrough with our interim commissioner, Christopher Cook. Additionally, there is one other park that we will be acquiring, and it's in the works. It's the Mayor Menino Park. We are still, it's still technically.
Where is that?
To be honest with you, I don't remember the address off the top of my head, but I can get that for you before I leave. The Mayor Menino Park. It's the newest. It's close. It's kind of in between North End and Charlestown, I believe. And it was a major development by the BRA. And they've asked us to take it on, so this will become a park for North End users to also use. We are just waiting for the project itself to be at 100% completion, but it is a gorgeous park, and I will make sure again that I get you the address so that you all can start to enjoy it. It is open to the public at this time. And I had one other thought that I needed to share. Pardon?
Luxury Wharf?
Yeah, it's near the wharf, but it's not.
I think it's the one right at the end of the bridge, like when you walk down the stairs, it has that like cyclone thing.
It's new, yeah. It's completely new.
It's over by the dam.
That's it by the lock, yeah.
So that is going to be, we are acquiring that property, but it is open for use at this point. So we invite people to head out and enjoy it because it's a gorgeous park, and it's had some incredible partnerships in terms of financial contributions from Spalding and some other lead donors, if you would. And I have one other thing, and I don't know why this is escaping my brain at the moment. I do want to say thank you for inviting us and being so civically engaged with everything, particularly our parks, because this is a great asset to us who are our eyes and ears, and we really do appreciate that. So with that said, I promise you that I will have better updates regarding these projects by the time your next meeting comes. If it's okay, I would love to attend the actual Parks and Open Spaces Committee meeting so that we can discuss in better detail. And if there are no other questions or concerns?
What's the status of the Rachel Revere Park?
That I don't know. I know that we had a brief conversation about it some time ago in the office, but I can't give an exact update, but I will.
We were told that was in the budget schedule to go.
We're just waiting on our, again, like I said, we've made several asks to the Budget Committee and Council, and we are simply waiting for the yay or nays of how the dollars and cents will be allocated.
Elizabeth?
And what about the renovation of North Square?
I haven't heard anything about that, but that doesn't mean that it's because there's nothing happening. It could just be that I have nothing to do with it personally.
We understand the contract is already been selected.
For the North End School, for the North End.
It's Boston Transportation that's running that.
Oh, I realize that.
Boston Transportation on city property?
BT, because it's a street. That's
Boston
It's a
Square.
piazza, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
It's a public space.
But that's who presented to us last time with the BTD guys.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's curious jurisdiction. Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
So Mayor Walsh, around December, said to me that there was going to be a top-to-bottom review of budgets in the Parks Department, and he suggested there was going to be some process that was new associated with that. So I'm curious, can you give us any visibility on that process, and is there any public part of that process where we're going to be able to weigh in, go to some meetings, say, please fund this or fund that, beyond talking to you, which is obviously very nice as well.
I really wish I knew the particulars in terms of his initiative. I think that it's still relatively early to determine what all the steps are, because as he's been in office, let's see, 3 months, 4 months?
100 days.
Since January 6th. He's still learning the particulars surrounding the Boston Parks Department, as well as all of his other agencies and cabinets. I don't know those particulars, but I'm sure, I mean, I at least have faith in him taking a real aggressive look at understanding how we work, where we need more funds, where we might not need funds per se. And all we can do is hope to communicate it when we know better, you know, what the protocol and procedures are going to be going forward. But with regards to advocating for certain budget asks and requests, it's always favorable when our friends groups and our neighborhood associations write letters in support of projects being budgeted, because you all see the projects day to day. So if there's something that you feel as though we've given you an answer, and again, off the top of my head, I can't give any specifics in terms of where the budget allocation is going to be. If there's something that we have dropped the ball on, then I encourage you to write, you know, and I use that term loosely, drop the ball on, but if we can't get it funded, I encourage you to write a letter of support so that they can fully understand what it is that we've been advocating to, because sometimes it's better articulated by the people that live with it day to day.
Okay, so
Yes, I'm wondering if the Parks Department has addressed the need for dog parks in the neighborhood, and for one, just to protect the green space that we have.
It is a work in progress. The last time I was here, this was a huge point for then Commissioner Pollack. That was back in May of 2013. Have we fully addressed it? No. Does it mean that we've stopped looking into it? Absolutely not. The challenges with dog spaces are that capital funds are not allowed to be allocated to dog recreation spaces, nor are the actual giving of park space to dog recreation spaces. So it's a very complex subject. And then the other, with those limitations in place, become how do you fund a dog recreation space when you do request it? Because to the tune of $250,000 is what it takes to start up an actual dog park space, because of making sure that the turf can drain properly, as to allowing us to make sure that we are following proper hygienic protocols and fencing and water and barrels and who's gonna maintain it. So typically what we've suggested is that if there is a parcel of land that isn't technically allocated as a park space, and there are a group of residents that want to take a particular interest in fundraising and forming a dog space, we will then look at it on a case-by-case basis to see where we can assist in bringing it to fruition. But as of right now, the Parks Department does not have dog recreation space guidelines in play for us to own, operate, and maintain.
Did you say they can't buy or use park space? So does that mean it has to be private? The property needs to be bought privately?
Well, the parcels can be City of Boston parcels, just not falling under the Boston Parks Department space. Because if it's been declared a park space, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because open spaces are in our purview for people, human use. And so that's where, there are those fine lines where if it's a city parcel, we can always look into it and try to see if we can take limited ownership to it, but there are always maintenance agreements that are reached with the groups that do the funding for the dog recreation spaces.
Dave of Ruff?
I was just curious as to how those dog parks in the past have been funded. Obviously, some private sponsorship, but Is there any city or state funding available for that?
No, there is no city or state funding. The Ronan Park, Peters Park, and I believe there's one other one that the name is escaping me at the moment. Those were privately fundraised by the community members of those areas, because there was there was a need, as there is. We are pet friendly, believe it or not, but it's a complicated beast, if you would, when it comes to putting it into play. But those were funded by private institutions, and the residents really took the lead on
And
securing
Peters
that
Park
funding.
wasn't considered parkland before it was converted to a dog park?
I've asked that question, and I probably would need to find out more specifically how they managed to maneuver it, because as it's written, we don't designate parkland to it. But let me find that out, and I can always get back to you with that.
Thank you.
One more, and then we got to get to the market date.
Nate Swain, 181 Salem Street. I just wanted to let everyone in the room know, Mayor Menino Park is next to Spalding's brand new building at the end of Charlestown Navy Yard.
Thank you. Thanks, Nate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think-